everybody. It's the 5th of July, and everybody survived, so that's a bonus. Welcome to Coast. And, of course, I'm here with the Philly sports guy. We got Jay and Stat Guy, who looks like a glowworm down there. What is happening?
Oh, not much.
How you guys doing? You have a good 4th?
Mm-hmm.
Mine was good. It wasn't too bad. I will tell you this: that there was a lot of fireworks.
Gaston, help your sister!
You hit the wrong button, so we heard all that.
That is amazing.
I'm sorry.
All you did was drop the camera, but you left your mic on.
Did I?
Yes, you did.
That is awesome.
Is Austin helping his sister? Is he helping his sister?
Yes, he's very much helping his sister.
Man, because I didn't know if that was you or Pags' girlfriend coming back to haunt him.
Whoa. Just because I told you guys doesn't mean I need the world to know.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry. That was a Freudian slip.
Yeah, it.
Well, all right.
So yeah, that's a great way of starting it off. Let's go. Let's start it off with a bang and keep on going from here.
Oh, on a brighter note, we got my boat in finally.
Yeah, so what happened there?
So I don't even know. So we went fishing Saturday. We were going to go fishing Saturday afternoon and then come back late Saturday night and then go out again Sunday morning. And in the process of going from Sheboygan to about 9-10 miles out into Lake Michigan, like towards the middle of the lake, my boat died. And it was full of gas, so it wasn't a gas leak. It was something electrical, and where we were, we had no cell phone service. So we were literally just chilling on a boat for 36 hours till we finally got cell phone service, and then Coast Guard came and got us off of our boat Sunday afternoon, and then we just got my boat back in yesterday.
Wow.
Gotcha.
Oh, wow.
I assume that you don't have any type of battery power radio to be able to talk.
No, not on just a regular fishing boat, no.
I bet you do moving forward.
I'm about to say, I would highly recommend that.
I am probably never going to go out that far again because I was scared shitless.
Maybe some oars.
How big is your boat?
The boat we had was a 24-footer.
Yeah, see, even you should have 26. It's got to be like 26, 28. You were feeling every swell.
Oh, yeah. Quite frequently.
Yeah, that's and a 10 miles out, even on Lake Michigan, it's going to have some swells.
No doubt.
Wow.
Makes you feel seasick when you don't get seasick.
Well, yeah, I mean there's lots of different things that could have occurred. I mean, thank God you weren't on Lake Superior.
No, and then
Your boat wouldn't have made it.
Yeah, and then my son's like, "Well, why didn't you swim?" I'm like, "That is a very far swim, and that water's like 50 freaking degrees. You think I'm gonna swim 10 miles? I ain't making it 10 miles."
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I guess you can't do smoke signals either. You don't want to start a fire on the boat.
Right.
That is
Especially if it was electrical, yeah.
So,
damn. Well, I hope you had a good amount of runts on you so you could survive it, you know.
No, he probably did not have enough runs.
Yeah, exactly.
Or at least some gummy bears or cartilage to make gummy bears. I mean, something. Come on, work with me here.
We had our first ever Feast of the Carnivores here at in my living room, and we had a good showing. I want to say there was a good like 20, 24 people that showed up.
Nice.
That got to partake in the steak and chicken and kebabs and hamburgers, hot dogs.
Oh yeah.
You know, bacon.
Nice.
You know, it was Feast of the Carnivores. That's what that really was. So, it was fun.
Nice. That's what I'm about to have tomorrow, Pags. I'm doing 2 briskets, 3 chickens, a pork butt, and 4 racks of baby backs.
Nice.
Yeah,
I got about 40 people coming. We did the post 4th of July over here, but
yeah.
So yeah, it should be a lot of fun.
How's the family?
Yeah, it's family and friends. It's a whole nine.
How is the family?
Oh, I'm sorry. How is? No, they're all doing well, man. On all honesty, man. Everybody has all their digits.
That's the key. That's the key.
No,
Make it
no.
to
You
the
know what?
first
Hey,
one.
listen. I say that because I know we were talking about this, but I would say when I was younger, probably like in my late teens, I had a cousin of mine that was an idiot, and he thought, "All right, I'm gonna light fireworks and just throw them." Well, okay, he lit one, and I don't know. I guess when he went to throw it, the damn thing went off. He didn't lose a digit, but he was feeling it for a good hot minute. I mean,
Yeah, I
literally.
mean, you want to avoid
Yeah.
the Jason Pierre-Paul action.
Yes,
what I'm
I was
saying? A little
JPP.
bit.
Like, ain't nobody want that. So that's why I always check in, be like, hey, everybody made it.
Hey, but I will tell you this. Hey, yesterday it was nice, man. I found baby back ribs for $1.35 a pound, man. I mean, it was
Sweet.
nice. Yes, I mean, I was stocking up on it. And of course, they give you like a limit of 2. So I had to go find 4 of my other friends, and yeah. So I got like 8 of them. I didn't care.
Hold on, you got a limit of 2 each trip, right? So you go walk into the place, you go buy them, you go put them out in the car, you go walk into the place, you go buy them, you go take them out to the car, you go walk into the place, you buy them. Yeah, like that's how you play that game.
Either that, or you
Doing
take
the
2 of your
self-check.
friends with you, and you just put them in, and you just get in a line. I mean, there's a lot of ways you can skin that goat, but $1.35 a pound. I mean, it was, and I'm hoping I can find the tomahawks when we get the tomahawk show. If I can find, I'm not going to get $1.35 a pound for that, but if I could get at least a $45 tomahawk, I'd be happy.
Yeah, tomahawk steaks typically run about like $17.99 a pound.
That's probably that sounds about right. Yeah.
So it should be 17 to about $20, $19.99, $17.99 is about right. Because I mean, I had, like I said, you saw the tomahawk I have. That's a 2.5 pounder. So
yeah,
and it costs $40. So they have tomahawk steaks that are prepackaged. A lot of places will have them now because I mean tomahawk steaks. I mean, I don't remember tomahawk steaks 5 years ago. I'm sure they had them.
You had to go to a butcher. Like you wouldn't find them in the store.
I remember the first tomahawk steak I ever had was in Nashville for the draft.
Oh, okay.
And I literally was like, I got there 2 days early because I get the layout of the land. I need to find out who it is that I got to go see, try to get in the media credentials at the last second, like try to fake it in that regard and stuff like that. And I went to Kid Rock's place on Broadway.
Oh, nice.
And they had a tomahawk steak, and it was the first one I had ever had. And I was like, ooh, I got to order this thing. And they put me on the wall because I finished it. Like I finished it all the way down. Like I was gnawing on the bone. And they're like, we need to take a picture of that. And they took a big picture of me with the bone in my mouth.
Nice.
And
there was a place called Bull and the Bear. There's a restaurant called Bull and the Bear. About 5 years ago. Bull and the Bear. I think it's out there at Walt Disney World. I think it is out in Florida. That serves a tomahawk steak, and that was the first time I ever had it. And I ain't gonna lie, Pax, it was not cheap, man. That thing was like $100, man. And I couldn't believe it was that expensive, but I didn't know much about tomahawks back then either. But yeah, it was good, but damn.
Yeah, I mean tomahawks are a fairly new type of cut. So it's not that there's anything, like I said, I'm all right with that. Hey, if you give me the tomahawk the right way, I want the filet on the other side too. I would love to have a tomahawk T-bone. So
sure.
It's like,
How the tomahawk battle axe, I'm in.
Yeah, exactly. So what kind of fish is that, Stat Guy? I'll see if Bo can put that up.
That is a king. That is a king salmon.
King salmon. So it jumped in the boat. You didn't even have to catch it.
Oh no, we caught it. It took us like a couple hours to get that sucker in.
A couple hours. That's awesome. I mean, that's a big fish. For anybody who can't see it, I'll see if you can put it up. There you go. That's actually a pretty good.
Well, that works. That's easier than what I was.
Oh, nice.
That's a good sized fish.
And that's what y'all caught?
That's what we caught before our boat died. That's what our plan was to eat for supper later that night, but obviously the plan averted.
So You know what, Robert? It's always nice to talk tomahawk steaks.
Yeah, that's right.
It's like we are men. It's like,
We
and
like food.
and tomahawk steaks are always real good. How many of you guys were on the boat?
Just me and him. We only us two.
That's your son?
No, that was my friend that I went with.
Okay.
I wouldn't take my son out there. He's not ready to do that kind of
hours with no power. Yeah, probably not.
Well, he's not. It's not that he's not ready to go. Like, he's been on a boat before fishing, but he's not ready to go like super far out in the lake yet. Like,
So let me ask this question. I assume you didn't have an oar
no,
or two oars.
Exactly. Yeah.
no.
Maybe you should put an oar. I mean, not for
Hey.
nothing. I know that sometimes you're going against the there. You have to definitely wait for the tides to change
Yeah.
to help you get in there. But like an oar sometimes helps.
Oh yeah.
There's no doubt.
We weren't
And
as
it'll take
we
forever.
weren't as we were not as prepared as we should have been, but at the same time, you don't think of stuff like that happening when you have like a full tank of gas and everything's good to roll, and like you check everything before you leave the dock and everything's good to roll, and then you get out there and we were sitting out there for like 3 hours without moving, so it's not like we were driving the boat for like a long period of time once we got to where we had to go. So
What's
whatever.
the depth there at? I mean,
Well,
I'm sure you have a depth finder,
It
but
was,
like,
I think the deepest we saw was 437,
Okay.
yeah. What
That's
size
pretty
line?
30 pound.
Yeah, I like asking these types of questions. I have been very big itching to go deep sea fishing.
It's
Right.
I haven't done that yet. I want to do that next spring when we go to Florida. I want to take my son deep sea fishing with like not a professional, but like the ones that actually take you out where you pay for like the services or whatever and you go out for the day. Like, I want him to do that just because I want to do it too. And I have no experience doing that, so I'm not just going to rent my own boat and drive out to the middle of the ocean and do that kind of stuff.
Well, I'll tell you what, though, those trips
certainly
are
not
not
after this
cheap.
last
Not
weekend.
with a 24 footer. You're not.
Hell no.
Right?
Yeah.
No, that's
You
you.
need like a
Like
60
26 is like the largest that you're even allowed to, and you need definitely more like a 42 footer. Like
Yeah.
a 42 footer to go, like to do anything, because literally you want to do like a 16-hour trip at the very least.
Mhm.
Like, I keep saying that I want to do like a 32-hour, because it's like it takes the time to get out there. Like, I want to go out there and I want to drop my line like 800 feet.
Mhm.
Well, that's
I would-
like if you go out of Galveston, like if you take a deep sea fishing trip out of Galveston, now it's going to run you some money. But if you do it, they generally go out about 18 to 20 miles off the coast. I mean, and you're getting everything from drum to snapper. I mean, you name it. I mean, bulls.
Yeah, I've been drum fishing.
Yeah.
Drums are easy to catch,
Yeah.
but first off they suck at eating. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm and they're easy to catch, actually. That you
Yeah.
just reel it in and it comes in. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I would much
Doesn't
rather.
fight you.
But you get a good 20 miles out there. I mean, you'll catch a lot of different things. I mean, it's just.
Yep.
But you're right, Pags. I mean, it's close to about 18 to 20 hours that you go out, but you're spending probably $400 or $500 to do it. But it is a lot of fun. I mean, it really, and they have a little place you can go in there and you can eat and stuff inside the cabin. And
Hey, Rob, if you wanted to take me deep sea fishing as payment for the pizza, I would do that. I will accept deep sea fishing. Maybe we can get Bo to go. We wouldn't be able to do a show that day, obviously.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'll stay an extra day in Seattle, and instead of going to the Dodgers game, I'll leave on like that Tuesday or Wednesday. It'd probably be cheaper on a flight for me, actually, and go deep sea fishing out on the West Coast. I wouldn't mind doing that. You know what? There's a piece of me that thought of maybe trying to get like on a 2-week excursion to go do the Most Dangerous Catch.
that would be a lot of fun.
The deadliest.
It's not a lot of fun, actually. It's a lot of fucking work.
I know. I mean, I have two uncles that have fishing boats out in Florida that did nothing but that they were commercial fishermen. So I understand the process of it all. But for me, that kind of stuff is fun. I love that.
I'm a Navy guy, so I get it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could do. I mean, it's been a minute since I've spent that type of time on a ship, but I still would.
Oh yeah.
I still would love doing it. I mean, the my living room is a den of tugboat guys. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of tugboaters that come and drink here. So I get to see a lot of merchants that spend time and do that, but they don't go deep sea. We've been talking about doing a deep sea event here. Shortly, you know what I mean? But it's just a
Right.
matter of getting the people, getting the money together, who's collecting the money, who's getting the boat, and things like that. It's like you need 8 people, and it typically runs about $3,000. To
Yeah,
go
that
out
sounds
there.
about right. 'Cause like I said, it ain't cheap. That stuff runs you a little bit of cash. Pags, back in the day, we had minesweepers over off in Bahrain, and our captain would let us fish off the back of the ship. And it's not our Navy days. I mean, it's a small ship, Pags. I mean,
Right.
like you said, it's the size of a tugboat, and we used to get barracudas and all kinds of just crazy fish.
Yeah.
And
Well, especially
that was a lot of
in warm water. So
Oh,
we
yeah.
weren't allowed to do that. I mean, we were 500 yards off the coast of Bahrain, but
Yeah.
we were not allowed to do any of that type of stuff because the rods would actually give off, like when the sun hits it, would actually act as like
Yeah.
a beacon where they could actually aim for. So
Right.
that's at least that was what was told to us. So
Right.
Have you guys ever seen Wicked Tuna?
I've seen the commercials for Wicked Tuna.
So one of the guys that's on that show, I think it's TJ. He's like the bigger guy with the dreadlocks. When he's like not doing that show, he actually does like tuna fish tours where you can actually pay to go on his boat and he'll take you out.
Where's that out of? Maine?
The show itself is out of Gloucester, Massachusetts. And then they have a second season that's off the
Always Gloucester.
And then it's in the Outer Banks in North Carolina also during the wintertime. So they have like 2 separate seasons, but like the season only goes for like 5 or 6 weeks and then they got to stop the season. So then he's got like a 7-week window where he just takes people out on the boat and they can go to get the yellowfin tuna because that's the one that you can fish all year versus the bluefin.
Oh, nice.
Like the 6
Nice.
on it.
Bluefin's more expensive though.
Bluefin they can get up to $38 a pound. Last season, one of the captains on that show caught like 112 inch 700-pound bluefin tuna that got $31 a pound.
Wow!
So you get a 700 pound fish at $30 a pound. You're making $21,000 just on one fish.
Yeah, well, that'd be great. Depending on if it's like if he's on a commercial boat, he gets all the money. He gets the full share. Obviously, if I was to catch that, would I only get like $6?
Well, yeah, for how that show works. So obviously, if you have 4 people on your boat, you're dividing that out 4 ways. So then $5,000. Well, he might get a little more as the captain, but figure $5,000 per person. Then you take
and depending on what kind of boat you're on, because you catch that fish, you're going in right away because you don't want that to spoil.
And then the fuel cost. If you catch a $20,000 fish, theoretically, after you pay everybody on your boat, after you pay it for fuel, you're probably bringing home about $2,000 out of a $20,000 fish, which is still not bad for one day at work. $2,000.
Well, depending on how quickly you get it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It sounds like but it actually ruins the trip. You're excited that you caught the one fish.
Sure.
You get the pictures with the fish, you do all that stuff. It's when you get that type of fish, that's like, yeah, that's awesome. You're not holding that fish. You're
not at all.
Yeah, right.
On a
That's
hook.
on a rig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's it. Like, say you catch that in the first 4 hours, that's kind of what you want to do because you don't want to stay. You don't want to be at the end of the 16-hour trip and catch that fish.
Yeah, because most of the time it's like a 3-hour ride out to where they're gonna go. Then if you're out there for 4, 5, 6 hours, 3-hour ride back, you're already looking at a 12, 13-hour day just catching one fish.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's miserable because, like I said, if you catch it early, now you got to go back right away because you don't want that fish to spoil. You're not putting it in the water again. You know what I mean? It's like you already gaffed it out, and you don't want somebody to bite it. I mean, that was the other thing. I had heard a story from a friend of mine who had gone deep sea fishing, and they caught this monster fish, and I guess a shark got to it, and it was fighting, and then all of a sudden it was just easy to reel in. They're like, damn, it must have got away. The shark bit half of it,
Oh damn.
and the back half he lost its fin and whatever, and or tail, and that was the end of the fight.
The worst part about Bluefin season 2 is you're only allowed to catch 1 or 2 fish within like a 24-hour period. So if you go out at 7 o'clock in the morning and you catch this fish at 10 o'clock at night, and then you're getting back at like close to 7 o'clock in the morning, you can't even go fish the next day because you're your 24-hour window. So then you got to sit a day. That's why you want to try to get one within the first 4 or 5 hours, because then you get back.
You can go back out. You can return back
and go right back out there.
Yeah. No, that makes sense.
So, and fishing is not like fishing in a barrel. Obviously, it takes like every time. Now, I grew up in a pond and that we stocked, so it was like fishing in a barrel for me. But every time that I have ever gone fishing, because I've gone fishing in a pond that had stocked fish, and I would get we stocked it with largemouth bass, sunnies, bluegills, like all these different things, and we had a lot of koi. Actually, we also did a koi farm, so
nice.
we were able to sell some koi on occasion. And koi can get very expensive if you get the right koi. It's like, and you think that it has to have this marvelous color and stuff like that. Like an orange koi, just a straight orange koi is really what they want. They want like really, really big goldfish almost.
Yeah, basically.
And that's what sells for the most amount of money. And we had a few of them that were just like monstrously gorgeous.
Right.
And then we also had snapping turtles in there, and like the biggest snapping turtle was every bit of like 80 years old. It had been in there from stories that I've heard from before. And it was like massive. So anytime it would get the bait, you could hook him because he would go after the food too. And next thing you know, it's like, oh damn, we got to cut the line, and and that hook would just dissolve in his mouth. He's old. It would just dissolve.
I believe it.
The acid in the turtle's mouth is amazing. I'm a big fan of snapper soup. I really wanted to play that game, but you got to know how to prepare that too.
Huh. Yeah, that'd be interesting. I've never had
Robert, I understand that big goldfish are called carp, but actually, I was giving the explanation of a koi fish that is straight orange is what really gets the most amount of money. They do not want black speckles or white speckles in it. They want it straight orange or like a gold. That's what it is. Goldfish came from carp itself because some of them would have a gold tinge to it, but koi, they want like large goldfish or carp, but it's a koi.
Yeah,
different scenario.
Yeah, they're talking color, not the shape of the fish.
Correct. Just so that you understand that I do know what the hell I'm talking about there when I'm talking about fishing.
Man.
I'm really curious. What exactly does turtle taste like? 'Cause I've heard people eating turtle, but I've always been kind of curious of exactly what it tastes like.
It's so I haven't had a turtle steak. I've only had snapper soup. Snapper soup is usually dark and rich as something that you add sherry with. It's like, and see, that means they're preparing it way too stringy. I understand what you're talking about there, and yes, that's snapper soup that's not prepared properly. I like snapper soup that has strands. It actually, when my expectation is that they are cheating some. You could cheat snapper soup with turkey.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. And when it gets stringy like that, the turkey will start to dissipate. and pull itself apart so that it actually has individual strands, because it's a very rich thing, and there's something about the chemical in what they cook it at, the broth that they cook it in, that will like start to decompose turkey some, so it feels like you're eating hair. So I'd be willing to bet that they're adding some of that in there. That's why
Yeah.
good snapper soup will have, like, not like chunks, but like strands that are as thick as like linguine, like a thick linguine.
Okay.
And that's really what it is, and it'll be like chunks, because you want it separated some. You don't want big chunks of meat in there. This isn't like a lobster roll or something like that, or a lobster bisque.
Well,
Okay, that's fine. When it's an acquired taste, it is an acquired taste.
lobster bisque is great.
Yeah,
I love
lobster biscuit's good.
Yep. So, did anybody shoot off fireworks yesterday?
I didn't. So we started off with we went to a car show first, and then went and grabbed some food, and watched a 4th of July parade. But then my wife started not feeling great, so we ended up just going home for the night, because we were actually supposed to go to a couple of parties, but we ended up tapping out early.
Yeah,
Okay.
we wound up watching some fireworks as well. I went and got me a cigar, some best made pickle beer, and we sat on the tailgate and watched our neighborhood fireworks. And it was a really nice fireworks show. I mean, I got to admit, they did a really, really good job. But I didn't buy fireworks. They're so expensive, Pags. Jeez, man, like $300 or $400 for some of these sets, and I was like, yeah, I'd rather just go watch them than. They're expensive. I can't believe how expensive they are.
Literally lighting money on fire.
Literally. I mean, yeah, you're right. I mean, some of the stuff gets stupid expensive.
Yes, it does. Actually, to have a good, like, the last time I did a great fireworks show was when I was at my ex's mother's farm, and we were doing a fireworks show against the neighbors, which was awesome, because then they would shoot off one, I'd shoot off one, they'd shoot off one, I'd shoot off one, and it was just a lot of fun to kind of be able to do that. To do that properly costs, like, you have to have a fireworks place that understands what you're doing. And they usually do the buy one get one free.
Yeah,
because they want you to spend the $500, and you got to start buying the bigger packages. And you're buying packages that are $40, $50. The good thing about fireworks is that the more money you spend, the better the firework is.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, you do get what you pay for.
Yeah, that's true.
And Brad, yes, there is pickle beer. I wasn't there at this event, but we have the Big Dill that happens here, and it's a big pickle party where they do bring out pickle beer, pickle vodka, pickle anything that you want pickled, or a pickle lead, like any alcohol pickle, they have it. They have pickle whiskey, they have pickle beer, they have pickle vodka, I think they have pickle rum.
I went to my wife went to Sonic, and she actually got pickled Dr. Pepper, and I'm like, who the hell puts pickles in Dr. Pepper?
Yeah, hard pass. That sounds.
It's an extreme hard pass.
And I like pickles. There's a 0% chance I'm trying that.
Yeah.
Like, even if somebody were to just be like, "Here you go," I'd be like, "Yeah, I'm cool, man."
Yeah. I trust me, and you're smart, because I tried some of her pickled Dr. Pepper, and it was the most horrible thing I've ever had in my life. And
I mean, yeah.
It's horrible. But I will tell you this: best made pickle beer. It literally tastes like you're drinking a damn pickle, literally, but has with the beer content. It's crazy. It's so good.
I mean, at that point, you might as well just pickleback and take a shot and then drink some pickle juice. Call it a day.
That sucks. First off, Wendy, I didn't even realize that you were in Harrisburg. So I didn't realize you lived in Harrisburg. And
Wow, that is a bummer.
Huh.
Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, that
I
does.
actually got to help light off a big show, like a city show. This was 20 years ago now, but that was actually pretty fun. You're out there with hard hats on because the concussion, right? But the mortars are, you can get up to like a 16-inch mortar that they're doing at like a small city show. And man, does that put any of the things that you buy at a stand to shame, right? Because your mortars there are like, maybe this big or so.
I go for the little bit bigger mortars. So
Okay.
I've seen. So I think the biggest that you could purchase legally here are 4-inch.
Yeah,
mortars.
that sounds right. Yeah, that sounds right.
Anything beyond 4-inch, when you get to 6-inch and stuff like that, it starts to get too much. So what they'll do is that they'll stack the 4-inch ones.
Yeah.
So that's a monster deal. You know what I mean? Like I don't know if anybody's ever saw that video where the one looks like it's bang bang and it's making like a ladder to climb up to something like that. That's a stacked one that goes very specific. Obviously, the Chinese know how to make fireworks really well.
There's no doubt. Yeah. So for you to be able to get those here, you're not doing like the neighborhood stands. Like you have to go to the reservations and stuff to get some of the bigger. I mean, unless you're doing a city show and then you can buy them commercially, obviously. But that was a ton of fun. It was a ton of fun lighting that stuff off. It was hilarious because everything you did, you were carrying a fire extinguisher with you.
I would imagine so.
You're loading these things up and then you're just cruising along with a 5-pound. Because I mean, just the launch ends up lighting stuff. Can light stuff around the platforms.
I love it when you have those types of mishaps where you have the entire show in 2.5 minutes.
where auto fires,
a half-hour show, 2 minutes, and it's just one big ball of explosion.
So we, as a kid, I went to one in Eastern Washington. And they used to do a show. I mean, maybe they still do, but I haven't been over there forever. They used to do a show off the Grand Coulee Dam. And they had one where it was going to be one of the finale balls, right? So one of the just monsters. And it launched, but didn't launch, right? So it got about maybe 30 feet in the air and blew up. So all of the sparks and everything just launched out into the crowd.
Oh, God.
So you're out in this field and you're in the middle of one of the balls.
Oh, geez.
That's always fun, especially for kids.
Yeah. Good Lord.
Oh, there you go. Wen was born in Philly.
How about that? See, I didn't know that. See, you're close to me, Wen. Good for you. Lucky you. Maybe.
Now, the other thing that happens kind of cool here is we have we have a racetrack down here, and horse races, and they do their firework display on the 3rd every year. So you can go down, enjoy some horse racing, and then they do this monster show. And of course, their show is really big because it's funded by all the people that are really bad at horse racing. So, you end up thinking they have a finale like 3 or 4 times before they finally do. But it's awesome that they do it on the 4th because then, most people have the 4th off.
Right.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Emerald Downs.
I mean, we have our casino. Our casino does it that way too. They like to do it on the 3rd, so because everybody else goes out on the 4th to do their own thing and stuff.
Yep.
Cool.
Oh yeah. Yeah, no, I used to go to the one at the track all the time. Like that one was always fun. The only downside is it's in a spot where it takes you forever to get out of that parking lot. So usually what we'd end up doing is just kind of tailgating after the show because we knew we weren't going to move for an hour anyway. So we would just end up, hanging out and continuing the party until people started clearing out.
Right. That's the way it works. And look at that. We're already at the bottom of the hour.
That's right. Halfway point is here.
We go.
We
I say this.
We might even talk about sports on the backside.
Oh,
Maybe.
This is Reggie Jones, owner and founder of Air Sports Academy. Air is based on the 4 core principles: heart, education, integrity, resiliency. Air is about developing student athletes physically and mentally through training, mentorship, and effective marketing. We've created a platform and a blueprint for our state to shine in the brightest of lights. I created this program because it was a need for our state. We needed to have the light shine on the student athletes in our region. And now that is happening at an all-time and undeniable rate. We created a lane for the kids in our state to get their college education paid for and set their families up for future success. We created an environment where serious athletes can now come compete fearlessly. We've achieved this through our variety of elite programs. Our 6-month off-season program, where first-year starters or seasoned vets can all come develop. Our 5-on-5 program, which is all about our line. Our youth tackle program, which is the first and only youth tackle team from the state of Washington to ever win a major national championship. Our 7-on-7 program, which is ranked top 10 in the country every year. Our high school 11-on-11 club tackle program, which creates unique and much needed opportunities for our kids. Our college prep program, which allows our graduates to come back from college and prepare for the upcoming season. Our track and field program, which creates an opportunity for our young air boys and air girls to continue to get faster. In your national program, you'll see national respect, which is why when you look at recruiting boards and top player lists from around the country, you'll always find players from Air on those lists. Which is why college coaches from some of the most prestigious schools around the country come into our facility to recruit our players. The Penn State, Alabama, Oregon, Stanford, Florida State, the list goes on. Our players are being recruited, offered, and committing to some of the top schools in the nation. The experience our players and families receive is second to none. We offer a competitive brand of sports at Air. We are the ball. And with that comes great responsibility. Heavy is the head that wears the crown. This is Air.
And Rob, you're right. I believe the first time I went there was actually with you, Vic, and Nicole. So, but yeah, I ended up going there probably 4 or 5 years in a row.
Nice.
Yeah. So I guess on the sports front, Jamarcus Russell ends up, he's an assistant or was an assistant coach at his high school growing up. Steals a $74,000 donor check, deposit it in his account, immediately withdraws $55,000 of it, and then admitted to it, but said he didn't feel like he did anything wrong.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's about right.
I mean, I've been doing stuff wrong apparently.
Yeah, I mean, I just think about that. It's just like, hey, you, good for you, Jamarcus. I mean, I'm sure that they didn't care about that money even a little bit, and I'm sure that it was better in your pocket than in theirs.
Yeah. So goes from one of the biggest busts in the NFL, which that happens, to clearly being a bust in life in general. Needless to say, he did get fired.
Did he say what he used that money for? Is the next question.
Well, this is still a developing story, so we don't know what he used it on yet. All we know is he withdrew the money. This happened earlier in the week, so tough to say. But I mean, damn, man.
I mean, what the hell?
Well, and he earned like 32 mil, so it's not like he should.
Well, where the hell did all that money go?
Clearly gone if you're stealing 74K from a school.
Yeah, I mean, this happened what, like a week ago or so.
Yeah. It was a donation to my bank account. Yep, pretty much. Pretty much.
Dang.
That's
That's
pay off
insane.
gambling debts. That's entirely possible. Tough to say. But I haven't seen what he actually put the money on yet.
And I'm trying to figure out exactly like here if he says it here.
He put the money on who was going to be a bigger bust than he was.
Either that or he put money on Joey Chestnut and found out Joey Chestnut wasn't there and lost his money. I mean, what else?
I mean, entirely possible. I mean, stealing from the school, that's rough. That's rough.
I mean, stealing in general is rough. But yeah, you're right. We put a school in there on top of all that.
Well, I mean, how many high schools do you know of that are actually adequately funded high schools?
No, none of them.
Well, and this is in Alabama. So, I mean, this is in Mobile, Alabama, I figure, right?
It is. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, they need their donors because that's what it is. Everybody that
Yeah.
the reason why Alabama is so good is because they have a good support system moving
Exactly.
up the ranks, because that's what makes things good. Like when we in Ridley, back when I was able to play football in the peewees and 80s, 100s, 120s, and then into middle school and stuff like that, there was a lot of investment into the kids, so that actually came out at the high school level. So at the time when I was in high school, we had not lost a game in like 9 years. So we had like this ridiculous, like I think it was like a 96 game winning streak.
That is crazy.
And our first loss was against a team whose kids played in our system because they lived close enough. And ultimately, they made us close the system down for a little while. We got suspended from play because we were taking kids that should have been in Springfield, but they were coming to Folsom because they lived closer to Folsom and they knew the program was better. So it was like, okay, these kids are going to go over here. And I mean, the one kid was, the few kids that came over were great players in general.
Sure.
So
it helped that they were 25. Like, it's fine.
And the funny thing is, that's not even frowned upon anymore, because now you have that open enrollment thing where you can enroll into any school district that you want now.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't go to my home school.
Not in the state of Pennsylvania.
You can't do that in Pennsylvania?
No. You can get a scholarship to go to that school, but you cannot just go. And most of the time, like, the schools now that are doing this are private schools, so they're giving scholarships to these students.
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah, I mean, here in Washington, you just have to apply to go to a school other than your home school.
Mm-hmm.
I was able to do it, but wasn't football related. But
even in Texas,
I
you can kind of do that.
So my home school didn't really want me there.
Oh, Lord. Yeah, because I know the high school I went to, they do a lot of recruiting. Like, they bring in a lot of athletes from other places and bring them in, whatever, and then have them play. I mean, unfortunately,
I like what's happening here. The Cowboys are just going to implode. It's going to be hilarious to watch. I'm in.
Oh, how about getting into a Twitter battle with a... Oh, Lord.
Did anybody see they were doing a 60-meter race, like a championship race, and they were showing like, the joke was, imagine doing all of your training to get prepared for this 60-meter race, and Tyreek Hill shows up.
Yeah, and he killed him.
crushed them by like 10 meters.
Yeah, like it wasn't even close. Like he
Right.
absolutely destroyed those guys.
That was hysterical to me. I'm like, that sucked. But that's who I want. Like they were talking about. Remember us talking about they were going to have the enhanced games.
Yes.
That's what I want to see. I want to see like guys that are
Just
beyond
roided out.
human, beyond human. Like I don't need them roided out. I need them to be able to move at like the supersonic speeds. I want to see somebody who is faster than Usain Bolt,
Sure.
But can't ever compete against Usain Bolt in the Olympics because this guy has done everything to his body that you could possibly do to become Captain America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's when baseball was good.
Hey, listen, I get it.
They were just ripping the cover off the ball like that.
We should get back to that era.
I wasn't mad at it. And it's funny because people lose their mind. They're like, oh, there should be an asterisk and whatever. It's like, you guys are out of your minds because the pitchers were doing the same thing.
Yep.
So, I mean, and I don't care how massive you get, like Mark McGuire's arms becoming tree trunks,
You still got to hit the ball.
right? Like you still got to pick the ball up.
And if you're a pitcher, you still got to throw strikes. Otherwise, getting steroids ain't going to do you any good.
Exactly.
So I got a question for you here, Mr. Bo from Seattle.
Okay.
The NHL has hired the first female full-time assistant coach.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
I mean, I have no problem with it. Like if you know the sport and you can coach, I could care less. I mean, our AFL team, they had a woman as their kicker for the year. So I
Nice.
mean, like if you can play, if you can coach, I don't care. Get out there, make it happen. Yeah.
Did they hire her as the kicker because she beat out the other kickers, or was it a financial thing?
She had a leg. Yeah, her warm up was impressive. Like she was blasting that ball
From the goal line or the other,
Yeah,
lines and kicking field goals and stuff.
Yeah, like she had a leg. So, yeah.
She's got legs.
Yeah, that's
She
right.
knows how to use them.
But yeah, no, she was killing it, and yeah, no, she definitely beat out other talent.
Nice. I mean, I'm happy to hear that type of stuff. I mean, it's good to see that. Obviously, we may be still very far away from seeing that in the NFL, but
Right.
I could see a kicker. I think there's I think for the NFL, the guys are just too big. Like
Right.
I think if you had women playing, I think they just get hurt.
Mhm.
You know, not that they wouldn't have the skill set. I just don't think they'd have the durability.
well, and how long does it take before somebody takes the shot?
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
there's going to be some douchebag that's going to take that low blow shot. There's no
Right.
question.
Oh, of course.
Like, welcome
Of
to the
course.
NFL, rookie. You know what I mean? Trying to be funny about it, and next
Yeah.
thing you know, it's like you
You know, it would probably actually be more malicious than that. It would probably be like they come in and spear him or something. Like it wouldn't be. I don't think it would just be the come in and clean you up. Welcome to the NFL standard rookie type stuff. I think someone would take an actual shot.
Yeah.
Just because there's still those people around, right? And so I don't think any job is missing that person, and I wouldn't think the NFL would be any different in that way. So someone would take some crazy shot, but there's no doubt one of them could be a kicker, right? Because they are protected to some degree. So I think they would there would be less opportunities for them to take that shot, especially as a field goal kicker.
I'm surprised more NFL teams don't try to pick up indoor football kickers because you look at how narrow those goalposts are. You got to be a lot more accurate to put the ball through those goalposts than you do in the NFL. So if you have an accurate indoor football kicker, I'm surprised more NFL teams don't try to take a workout on them.
Yeah, I mean,
That makes
sort
sense.
of. Sort of. I mean, it is significantly skinnier for sure, but you're also kicking from a lot closer generally.
But it's still 45 yards on. I'm just saying, like, if it goal line to goal line, it's 50 yards, right?
Yes.
So if you're making a 50-yard field goal between those narrow pipes,
Yeah, but nobody's kicking that.
oh, I know, but I'm just saying, like, if you were though, like, even on kickoffs, so like if you see some of those guys on kickoffs that kick goal line and like they're putting it through the uprights, why not give them a shot? The goalposts are twice as wide in the NFL, so if you're putting in between these narrow ones.
Oh no!
But again, they don't have wind either, though. I mean, like if you're kicking outdoors, you got wind. I mean, you're going left, you're going right.
Well, and
damn
most
hard.
of the time, if you're kicking a field goal, you're within 25 yards,
Right?
because otherwise you're going for it on fourth down. Because
Right.
it's a sport that is all about putting it in the end zone. That's why the scores are so high. So, like with nobody rushing, could they hit it from the other side? Yeah, probably, but so could every NFL kicker.
Right. Can I ask you guys a question? Is anybody here other than me upset that the guy only ate 58 hot dogs at that contest?
The woman ate
I know
51. The
it's
woman ate
here,
51.
but- huh?
The woman ate 51. I think I'm more impressed with her eating 51 than I am with the
Yeah,
man eating
exactly.
58.
Like when I saw 58, and I know Chestnut and all these guys are, they're doing like 70 something, and this guy's doing like 50. I was like, this, like, it was a little.
You know what that means is the guys that have lost to Chestnut over the last few years are probably like, really? This is the time I could have come out and not get sandbagged.
Truth of the matter is that like Joey Chestnut is so much better than everybody else in the world at fast eating.
Yeah.
Like even Kobayashi couldn't keep up with it. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
that was the thing. Like Kobayashi was good at it. The girl was funny. When you were watching the girl eat it, she would wipe her mouth off on her shoulder. So she had a big stain of meat like right there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just grease.
I found out the reason why she was doing that is she actually opened her throat more when she did it this way. She was able to swallow it down easier without anything getting lodged. Like, I guess, even though women don't have Adam's apple, they do have something that kind of it has to go through. By her doing this, it actually gave a straighter shot through.
Interesting.
All
Oh,
the different
man,
things
I
that
I
were-
knew Jay was going to go there. Like, it was.
Hey, I had a really good inappropriate comment for that one, Pack, but I don't want to say because I might get banned. But
soccer players kicking footballs aren't as good, Paul.
yeah,
They just aren't as good.
Besides the Dallas Cowboy kicker.
Well, I mean, but he also played rugby. So
Yeah, but-
he had a better understanding of kicking a football of sorts. So
Yeah,
and
the person isn't-
not many people know the football for a kicker is different than the football they use down to down. It actually is it's got more air in it. It's a little bit bigger and wider in
yeah,
general.
they smash the tips.
Yeah, so it's it's more like a rugby ball.
Yep.
Mhm.
In general. So
That's-
and not many
I didn't
people
know
know
that.
that. You get
Yeah, I didn't know that.
each team brings their own balls, by the way. That's why Deflategate was even a thing in the first place. And
Right.
you are able to it's I think 10 footballs and 2 kicking balls. Everybody brings a dozen footballs.
Yep.
And that's legal. That's the rule.
Yeah, it's because you're allowed to scuff the ball. Like you have to take a sticker ball brand new out of the package, and then you have a certain amount of time to do whatever it is you want to it, and then you have to present them to the NFL.
Here's the
Oh,
other
that's
thing
good.
that I find very, very interesting, that every field has got to be at game time or like when they test it an hour before game time at 67 degrees
The field temperature?
field temperature. Not the playing surface, but they got to stick it in and it's got to be 67 degrees. So like they put a meat thermometer into the ground and it's got to be at 67 degrees. Obviously in the snow and stuff like that, it's much harder to do that, but that there is a rule about that actually. So
Crazy.
What's the? Do you know what the theory is behind why they do that?
So that every location that you're playing at is the same.
Okay.
That's really the thought process and the purpose of that. But there's a lot of funny rules in the NFL that never get spoken about. And that every once in a while you see somebody do it and then everybody copies it because now they know the rule. You know what I mean? Like that 1 foot out of bounds and touching the ball, making it out of bounds is like nobody knew that rule until somebody actually exploited that rule.
Yep.
And that's what happened. Somebody finally exploits it, and then it.
But is there any? Do we know why? Is there any specific reason why they chose 67 degrees versus?
I'm saying 67. It's got to be like.
Oh, okay.
I think it's got to be like 65 to 75 degrees. I think it's got to be.
I'm sure there's a range.
Yeah, it's like I'm saying 67 degrees as whatever, but they have to obviously because sometimes there's snow.
Well,
If you're reading the temperature of the field and there's snow on the ground, it's going to say 32 degrees.
Yeah.
Right.
So you got to do the, like they said, the stick in there. And I think it's got to go in, like in Lambeau Field, which is probably one of the hardest ones to achieve that. There may be a spot that they use that they heat.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was going to say is I'm sure that they have to have some sort of heated area to try and achieve.
Yeah, because it's not, like I said, it's not a meat thermometer, but it's that thought process.
It's a probe.
I think it winds up going in like 18 inches into the ground. So
that
that makes a lot more sense rather than, but even in Green Bay, that's got to be difficult to achieve. So at that point, you're probably going through your drain surface.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because all these fields have unique drain surfaces that, like, the water will permeate through and then escape out.
Yeah. I mean, drain fields essentially. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Only talk, no game.
Okay.
That is correct. We don't play today. Our team is not playing today.
Yeah, I feel like we're all too old to suit up anymore. And that weirdly gets us to the top of the hour anyway. So, whatever you are going to go play today.
I actually am thinking about getting some pickleballs and playing some pickleball today. In my backyard. So we're going to take up 4 parking spots and set up a little pickleball.
Yeah, we're gonna bust out the cornhole and probably do some paddleboarding. So
I love a good game of cornhole.
Absolutely.
We have the cornhole already set, and I have my cornhole bags. I haven't even brought them out yet because they can't mess with the master.
Right on. Well, thank you for everybody that's tuning in. Be sure to like and subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. That helps us bring more content to you. If you're on Roku, stay tuned for the next hour. Other than that, we will see you all next week.
Take care, guys.